This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. Because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by the National Rifle Association. From the CZ Studios.
They're never going to stop us here.
Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense begins right now. It's garbage day at the ranch, and a garbage day it is at the ranch. Good heavens. I'll be filling your prescription for freedom today from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Whatever time you're listening to the show, you catch us on affiliates across the country that delay the broadcast. Either way, welcome in. If you're tuned in live, appreciate you. Glad you're here. It's all brought to you by the National Rifle Association. And we're here in the CZ Studios today at the Patriot Mobile Ranch. Greg in Dallas, Texas, how you doing today, brother?
Not too bad. Here we are on a Wednesday.
Here we are on a Wednesday. It's the top of the hill. It's the top of the hill. I want to thank you for sending us some sunny weather for the first time in a while, brother.
You're welcome. We got a little more, so we're going to send your way probably, too.
Yeah, well, we needed that. So let me let everybody know what we're doing here for the video now, which is kind of cool because we're back up on Facebook. I told you that yesterday. We're up there live. We're up live on X. We're up live over on YouTube and armedamericanradio.com. Now, Rumble, we're working with Rumble right now. There have been some changes over at Rumble with our account at Rumble. So hang with us if you like to watch us on Rumble. This is a work in progress right now as we make those appropriate changes to bring that feed to you live at Rumble, okay? So stay with us on there. If you don't see the live feed over there today, we'll have it back up for you tomorrow. We know what the problem is in advance if it's not showing live, even though it's already set up. So, Greg, if you would just be kind enough to tell people where to participate in chat, we'll go to my mom's favorite guest of all time ever, Dave Workman.
All right, sure. Other places to watch the show are going to be YouTube and Rumble. Just search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters over there. At X, we're at AAR Mark. You can head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com, hit that menu icon, then select your watch live or listen live option. And lastly, to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
That'll do it. Thanks for that, man. Dave Workman at the beautiful offices of the Second Amendment Foundation and the committee, the CCR KBA in beautiful Bellevue, Washington. How you doing, Dave? It's great to have you here. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm glad you could make it.
Well, I'm kind of glad I could make it too. You know, guys my age are always glad to be able to make it anywhere. You know, so.
Don't cut yourself short. You're not that old. God bless you, man. You've been doing this a long time. And you know, speaking of doing this a long time, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to have a conversation with you like you and I would have on a personal phone call. Dave, I picked up a firearm at my local gun shop just the other day. I picked up a car. X9 ported. It's absolutely beautiful. And when I went in, I noticed, and you tell me if there's any comparison in Washington State, but it appears to be industry-wide. But my two local gun shops right now are bare. I mean, you walk in and it's bare bones, man. There's no safes floor planned. You know, they used to have boxes, stacks of boxes of rifles and guns, and you know, they had the bins with the M1 Garands in them. You could pick and choose your fights. 4 huge cases. Only 2 are open right now, and I was told by the dealer yesterday that on Black Friday, 95% of their business was range, that sales were the worst they've ever seen. And I took a drive up the street to my other gun shop, and I noticed the same thing. I didn't have a chance to talk to the owner, who I know very well, but he wasn't in. But my eyes saw the same thing on the floor. Is this indicative of what's going on around the industry? Have you seen this in Washington, or is it just me?
No, it's not just you. It depends really on the gun shop. You know, there are some people who operate gun shops who are savvy and they've got their shelves stocked. They've got firearms on display. Some other people, though, and I'm not trying to disparage anybody because, you know, there has been a rush on gun buying. Although the numbers are down from last year, there's still a fairly healthy market for firearms sales in this country. And I think what is happening is that the industry has kind of slowed down a little bit for unbeknownst reasons, at least I couldn't explain them. And people have been buying up available firearms and certainly ammunition. I'm not sure why that is, because they've got a friendly administration in Washington, D.C., gun-friendly Republicans are in charge on Capitol Hill, and last night's election in Tennessee kind of boosted the House numbers by one vote. So I'm not really sure what is going on. You know, you can ask 6 different people, you're going to get 6 different answers. What I can say, though, is that the Second Amendment is alive and well out there.
Yeah, it is alive and well. I'm a little bit concerned by what I saw. And yeah, I don't, because I live here. It's not like I'm visiting gun shops all over the country. So I don't know if it's the same everywhere else. And we know what the numbers are. The numbers are down. And I'm just wondering, did the firearms industry, with the last couple years, as you well know, because you reported on it for a long time, we were clipping 1 million sales based on the information that we have, the NICS checks, et cetera. It's the best info we have. We were clipping that plus a month in record territory.
Yeah.
Even when those numbers fell, they were still in record territory.
Well, you know, this is going to sound really strange, but I guess one question, which I haven't bothered to answer because I've been doing other things, but has the marketplace become saturated? I mean, has the consumer base become saturated? Does everybody have all the guns that they want? I don't know the answer to that.
Well, let's get real. Do you?
Oh, come. Are you serious?
I mean, there's always something out there that you want. And, you know, the inflationary pressure and so forth that's out there, it's been out there for a while. Biden put us in hell in a handbasket. And we know when eggs shot up, don't let the media, ladies and gentlemen, fool you on this. You can believe your lying eyes. Prices went up under Biden. We all know that to be the case, even though they try to pin that on Trump. But it made reasonable sense that, you know, if your groceries are up an extra $400 a month, well, there's your gun. There's your expendable income that you might buy that new gun with that you're not buying. And we saw that taper down. Are we at a new level now that the manufacturers are just going to, are we at a new here, do you think?
Well, I don't know. You know, next month we're going to be able to figure this out because it's the annual shooting, hunting, and outdoor trade show out in Las Vegas. And that's where, as you and I both know from experience, the industry gathers to really lift the veil on any and all of their new products for 2026. Now, I've been working on some information. I got some early information from Hornady, and Taurus has introduced a new model of their Hunter revolver chambered for the 350 Legend, which you know, that ought to sell pretty well. Ruger's got some new versions of its 22 caliber bolt action American rifle. You know, there's stuff going on in the industry, and I think that as we get into 2026, which is going to be an election year,
right,
we may see gun buying steadily or gradually increase toward the election because there's always the possibility that the anti-gun Democrats could regain control of Capitol Hill. You know, we don't want to talk about that, but I see some Rasmussen polling information that says Democrats still kind of hold a lead among likely voters in a survey they just did. We're going to see if that changes. A year in politics can be an eternity.
Oh,
and
2 months can be an eternity, good heavens, yeah.
Yeah, you betcha. A year from this month, we're going to have the midterm elections, and we're going to see over the next several months how this shakes out.
Well, it's interesting because the special election held in Tennessee yesterday went to the Republican. A lot of conservative outlets were reporting huge concern about that. Trump took that district, by the way, in Tennessee, I believe, by 20 or 22 points.
22 points,
22 points. The special election victory was at 9 points. So there is going to be legitimate fear coming up into the midterms. Now, Greg just told we have 30 seconds. Let me kind of take this to the break. I do want to revisit this when we come back, and then we'll move on to some of your amazing work. But I think with with the fear, we were going to hear gun control during the midterms. The Democrats are not going to shy away from that. They can't. And they're going to push that hard. A lot of that is going to have to do with Virginia, I think, as well, because they saw successful runs in Virginia. And the Democrats, while they stayed pretty much out of gun control, they won Virginia hands down. So will that impact any of the campaigns? And we come back, we'll wrap that part of the conversation up with Dave Workman, ladies and gentlemen. Then I want to flip to Virginia and get his take. I haven't had a chance to talk with Dave in front of you as of late about what happened in Virginia and what they're getting ready to face. It's hell on earth. We'll be back with Dave Workman right after this. Guys, we're going to make the mic live for you here. I was just talking with Greg about the Rumble feed over there. We have a completely new setup at Rumble. If you like to watch on Rumble, we'll have it taken care of for you, I can promise you. Today was a test on that new setup. It requires an extra step from the studio here that we were unaware of until just now. But we'll be able to fix that for you tomorrow on the setup stream. It'll be set up in advance, and that's just stream keys and URLs that need to be updated every day. Via the software, which we weren't sure if it had already been done from the previous one. They were using that one or they were using a new one. Apparently, we need to add the new one. So we'll do that for you tomorrow, and we'll be good to rock and roll on Rumble, and we appreciate it, your patience there. Growth, that happens. Never a bad thing.
Yep.
But there is a learning curve on some of that stuff, and there's no human being you can talk to, so no big deal. I did have, well, that's not true. It did have some chats. It was just unclear as to, I was under the impression, Greg, that the previous stream key that we had live was the one that was going to carry forward as a static, and it did not. So each day we have to add that new one in. Once we add that new one in, it'll pick it up on the Rumble Studio, and you'll be able to watch us live, guys. So sorry for that if you like to watch us on Rumble. We'll fix that for you tomorrow. Just how it goes. Be with you in under a minute, guys. There's that 30 mark from Greg. I had the worst Subway sandwich I've ever had in my life today, and it wasn't because of Subway. It was because of what I ordered. I'll tell you about that during the next break, folks. It was really disgusting. I can't believe I ordered it. You'll enjoy the conversation.
Was it a tuna and turkey sandwich?
No, it was a turkey sandwich, but I'll explain what I did to it. I took one bite, and I thought, what the hell was I thinking? Funny.
Ketchup, huh?
Worse. The The following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I got my Patriot Mobile hat. I have my Patriot Mobile hat on here, and forgive the unshaven face if you're watching. I got a bet going on. We'll see how long I can keep that going. I can promise you it's going to be shaved tomorrow, and I'll lose the bet, but I don't care. Anyway, patriotmobile.com/AAR. Take advantage of the discounts we're offering over there at patriotmobile.com. This company is the real deal. They support you, your right to bear arms, this program, and everything in between as far as your values are concerned. Make sure to follow them on social media, see everything that they're up to, and you can use the AAR promo code. You don't even have to. Just visit patriotmobile.com/AAR. You're going to get a free month activation. Move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 phones over, however you want to do it, your home, your personal, your business, all of it. patriotmobile.com, and you can find all of our great partners who all need your support right now, ladies and gentlemen, over at armedamericanradio.com. Get your shopping out of the way at budsgunshop.com. We'll talk more about that coming up. Welcome back to the CZ Studios with me. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom. We're talking with the great Dave Workman, who is truly my mom's favorite guest and has been for many, many years. She loves when you're on the show, Dave, and so do we. You're a fan favorite for a reason. Welcome back, brother.
Well, that's very kind of you. And hi, Mom. Thanks.
Yeah, there you go. She loves it. Do you ever tell Dave I said hi? Hey, from my mom. Hi, Dave. So there you go. Just between you and me. All right. Back to that quick conversation. A lot of people say, oh, you guys just fearmonger. You know, you sell it. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't sell fear. When the Democrats are in office, we don't have to. They sell fear. We just repeat and remind you what they're telling us. And that tends to drive gun sales, Dave. It does. Now, I have an interesting... Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, it does, and you're right. It's not the conservatives of the country. It's not the Republicans. It's not the gun owners that quote unquote sell fear. We just sit back and respond to all the nutball rhetoric that comes out of the gun prohibition lobby.
And there's a bunch. Now, an interesting dynamic in play. Let's take one manufacturer, Glock. I have a sneaky feeling, and I can't wait to get your thoughts on this because you're so plugged into this. Glock comes out, catches a lot, I don't know, I call it hate. A lot of people saying they caved because of their decision to change all their models, likely because of what happened politically in California, Gavin Newsom and all that nonsense. However, that was a strategic decision that was no doubt made at least 2 years earlier so they could get ready to retool and redo their lineup. That didn't happen in a vacuum overnight, okay? Now, having said that, I had a guy ask me by email, so Mark, are you going to exchange your Glocks for the new ones? My response was absolutely not. Heck no. I love my Glocks, all of them. I love all of my guns, but I'm not going to exchange it. I'm just going to buy a new one. And I think that's what's getting ready to happen to Glock. And I think you're going to see their sales absolutely explode towards the end of the fourth quarter and into the first quarter throughout the year. I think that might have been a brilliant marketing move on their part. What do you say about that?
Well, you know, we're certainly going to find out when we see the SHOT Show because all these new models are going to be officially introduced over in Vegas. And, you know, it's kind of hard to forecast what's going to be popular with the shooting and gun-owning public from year to year. Remember a couple of years ago, the Creedmoor became the word of the day. You know, if it had anything to do with Creedmoor, whether 6mm, 6.5, you name it. Everybody wanted when they were scrambling to get that, and that's kind of subsided. And then you know, SIG every once in a while comes out with a model, or Smith and Wesson brings something new out, and boom, 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 it's the hot item. And you know, we're going to find out in the course of I think probably the next 8 or 9 weeks as we get into late January to February, whether what Glock has done is really going to hit that nerve with the consuming public. And people don't seem to understand something. Gun buyers are consumers just like anybody else, whether they're buying cars, farm equipment, grocery. We're consumers. And if we latch onto something that we like, that works, that we know is reliable, the gun companies will probably sell a boatload of those things.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're going to have to find out. But it's really a matter of what the consumer wants. And, you're right. You mentioned that there are a lot of bad-mouthing, bad vibes about what Glock has done. Yeah, a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find out in 2026 what the public is going to want, how the public reacts.
Yeah,
Period.
not the internet world, okay? Not that world, ladies and gentlemen, but the real people who go out and touch the grass and actually go and buy things, not just run their gators on social media where it's easy to do, where you can sit back and knock them and so forth. SIG's been suffering from that for a long time. No doubt they have their issues. It'll be interesting to see what their display is like versus what I saw at the NRA at SHOT Show. They go out and they reintroduce a new macro model just a couple weeks back, and they caught a bunch of hate online. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with you people? Okay, the SIG P365 macro is an outstanding gun. I'll take a new version of it any day. I've got 3 of those different models. They're great guns, but everybody's hearkening back to the P320. So you got the internet world, and then you got the real world. We're fixing to see which one of them, because there's a collision. We're fixing to see why. I think Glock may have made a beautiful decision there in the long run, because it's Glock. How many times have you been to the show and people walk by and go, Glock never innovates? Glock is thinking in their own heads. We sell more guns to more militaries and police officers and civilians around the world than anybody on this floor. We don't fix what's not broken, okay? So they kind of laugh their way to the bank on that, and I have a feeling they're going to do that in this case too. I could be dead wrong about that. It's been a weird market. However, I really, truly believe that may be the case, and I don't think Glock's going anywhere, and I think people are going to be curious about the new models, which are going to look just like what they have. We're going to have to add that to the stable too. So we'll see. We'll see if everybody out there buys like I do, Dave. I don't know if that's the case or not.
Well, hard telling.
we're, as we say down south of the Mason-Dixon line, in about 8 weeks, as you said, we're fit and find out for sure as everybody hauls into Vegas and sees what's out there. It was interesting, too. Justin Moon, the CEO of Car Arms, made it very clear on my show a few weeks back. He said gun companies that are not innovating, that don't have a large stable, okay, if they're one-trick, pistol wonders, they're suffering right now. But if you've got a lot of innovation, you've got diversity in your product lineup, as he does, and other companies, which all of the main, larger ones do, they're going to be fine. Smith & Wesson invited me to their shoot to introduce a whole slew of new guns, and we won't even know what they are until we get there. So it's going to be an awful lot of fun. Dave, again, I know we're going to take a break soon, but I want to start the conversation on Virginia with you. You talk about the midterms coming up. We saw what happened in Virginia. Oh, good heavens. They're getting ready to face a Californication of their state from a gun control perspective, the likes of which they have never, ever seen in Virginia, and really no way to stop it at this point. Dave, am I being overly pessimistic here?
Well, maybe not. You see, the problem is all those people in Northern Virginia that seem to vote Democrat, they're all employed by the government. A lot of people don't want to live in Washington, D.C. They just cross the Potomac every day and get a paycheck. But, yeah, I think there could be some real problems.
20.
The problem really is not enough people on our side of the fence go to the polls to
15.
In Virginia, you're right. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Dave Workman from the Second Amendment Foundation and the committee. We'll be right back. Guys, I'm going to move quick with Dave. I have a lot to talk with him about, and as you know, if you're a regular listener or watcher of the show, viewer of the show, there's never enough time in the 1 hour. But that's okay. We have 5 hours a week, and we have the 3 hours on Sunday, so we're up 6 days a week. But I'm going to try to cover as much ground as I can with him today, so buckle in. It is going to move quickly.
Is your studio camera 4K?
Yeah. Why, was somebody asking about that?
No, I had
Your mic
a
is
friend
live, by
of
the
mine.
way.
No, I had a friend of mine asking me about podcast stuff, and I was like, I'll check with one of my hosts that use the camera. I think it's 4K. What's the brand?
This one's an MX Brio.
MX Brio?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got
He was like
3 or 4. I've got a couple Opal cameras that are really beautiful, but I haven't gone to a full video system yet, but I will in the near future. Be able to add new camera angles. It's really not that big of a deal when it's just me in the studio. But I'll tell you what we're going to have some fun with is we're going to bring somebody live on camera on a split screen with me that's a guest on the show. And, as you know, it's all coming off the same board because we feed the audio to the board. Yeah, it's Logitech MX Brio.
Okay.
But everything that we feed through the board, myself and callers, if they're on camera and they call in, they're going to be coming through the board. So the audio should be in sync. The delays shouldn't matter. So we're gonna test one coming up, I think next week, and we'll probably do it with Lee when we have him on next week, or maybe with Paul to have him on camera with us while he's live on the air, which would be fun to do. But the mix is all coming from your board, so it'll be synced up. So guys, if everything works right, you'll be able to see the guests who want to be on camera in the very near future. We're going to test that next week for you. The following segment of Armed American Radio is proudly being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show. Indeed, welcome back to the CZ Studios. Mark Walters in front of the Patriot, the very powerful Patriot Platinum microphone, Patriot Mobile here at the Patriot Mobile Ranch. Of course, it's all being brought to you in the CZ Studios from the National Rifle Association. Guys, please support the NRA, won't you please? nra.org/AAR. You support both of us when you use that. And just join for 1 year. Help us out. If you live in Virginia, God forbid, you need to be a member. All of us need to be members of the National Rifle Association, ladies and gentlemen. Their troubles, we're past those Wayne LaPierre days. Those are long gone. It's time to look towards the future, and the NRA is doing all of the right things. Some of it painful, but it's all for the right reasons. It's so that they can fight for your rights and your freedoms behind the scenes. If you live behind the blue wall, you know what I'm talking about. So join them, please, nra.org/AAR, and take advantage of what we offer over there with the discounts and everything. And that's a beautiful thing. You support us, you support yourself, and you support the National Rifle Association. Again, you can find all of our great partners, including Bud's Gun Shop. Great place to get your shopping done right now. Bud'sGunShop.com, our exclusive online retailer. They have everything you need and want, and you want and need everything they have. So it is a match made in heaven. Goat guns, fantastic gifts for the holidays coming up. Reasonably priced at like $40 on average, and you get some super high quality stuff. Build them, have fun, put them on your desk, display. They go great on your safe. Wonderful stuff. Works great on a bar, in an office. GoatGuns.com. GoatGuns.com. Tell them we sent you when you go. We love them, and they love us. Great, great, great holiday gifts. Dave Workman, welcome back, brother.
Well, it's always nice to be here.
So, Virginia, let's close Virginia out before we go to your writings. A very scary situation getting ready to unfold for gun owners in Virginia. You're right about Northern Virginia, no question. You got Richmond, Norfolk, and the blue cities. All right, you got that Charlottesville area down there around the university, and University of Virginia is blue, but Northern Virginia is what's driving it. But Dave, it's so frustrating when you look at a Virginia map, electoral map, you see bright red everywhere. Now, my guess, again, I could be off on this, and I know this is what we're hoping for, but they have their Freedom Day that back in 2020, I believe, drew close to 60,000 people. I think that's getting ready to happen again. I hope I'm right in my guess. And also, the Second Amendment sanctuary impact in Virginia is getting ready to come back alive again. And I know VCDL and the NRA are going to try to hold those counties accountable today and have them re-up and revamp that Second Amendment sanctuary movement that they were all so supportive of. You had virtually 90% of the counties, 95% of the counties in Virginia make it very clear that they were not going to support any gun control. And if it doesn't happen now, good heavens, I don't know what it's going to take at this point, Dave, but I feel optimistic about that.
Well, you got to keep this in perspective. You remember what happened 4 years ago when the Democrats got back into power, and it may have been a thin margin, but thin is all you really need. And gun owners really did. They marched on the Capitol.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the images. I wrote stories about it. And what did the Democrats do? They just ignored them. Hey, we're in control. Screw you. Mm-hmm. And that kind of thing is not lost on me, because when you have a political party that is so steeped in arrogance that they think, hey, I could ignore half of my constituents out there because they just don't agree with my disarmament philosophy, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And the way to solve that problem is, well, it's too late now. I mean, that was earlier this month when the voters should have turned out. The next move would have to be maybe recall. I don't know. I can't speak with any authority on what the election laws are in Virginia, but I do know this: when you don't turn out to vote and you don't go to the polls and cast a ballot,
sit on your laurels.
You're letting somebody else decide your life for the next 2 to 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Don't come out and
vote.
Don't come out and female dog about it now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
If you didn't vote. If you didn't vote, you're part of the problem. And really, you're flat out right about that. If you didn't vote, I don't want to hear from you. You're part of the problem. You know how important it was, and you didn't vote. That's your problem. Well, now you're going to eat it. Now you're going to eat it.
And here's something else that is really part of that equation, and I hear this all over the country. Because of the way the vote turns out, say you're in a state like Washington or Oregon, where the Democrats always activate their guys to go out and vote, whether they are legal voters or not. They get them out there. And that's one of the reasons I think that the Justice Department is suing the Secretary of State of Washington right now. But after an election where liberals/Democrats win, the strategy is to convince the conservative voters who didn't vote to not vote in the future, and they tell them, well, you see, your vote doesn't count. Your vote doesn't count. And too many people really suck that up. My vote doesn't count. Why should I get off the couch?
How many times have we talked about this over the last 15 years together? At some point, this comes up. It doesn't matter who's in control. It really doesn't, because that's a true blanket statement. Guys, I don't care what team you're on. You can't expect your team to win if you're not going to get your ass off the bench. It's pretty much that simple, okay? Whether that's a Democrat or a Republican, it doesn't make any difference. And, a lot of people say, well, you're hating on Democrats. We're not hating on Democrats. We're telling you, because this is a gun rights show, what party wants your guns. We're just telling you the truth. So you got to suck that one up.
As you know, because you read my stuff all the time, I have repeatedly written, whether I'm writing at Ammo Land, my old column at Guns Magazine, which has gone out of print, sadly, some of my online stuff for American Handgunner, and certainly at thegunmag.com, where I'm editor-in-chief, I have repeatedly reminded people, hey, politics is not a spectator sport.
No.
It's a contact sport, and like it or not, you're on the playing field. And if you decide to not make it a contact sport, well, gee whiz, that's too bad for you.
You know, it's such a great analogy. You use a football analogy on this, right? Democrats on one side of the field, Republicans on another. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're old enough to vote, you're on the sidelines. The question is, do you want to be on the field? If you're voting, you're on the field. If you're not voting, you're warming the bench. And you're letting everybody else try to do the heavy lift. And that's what decides a W or an L in this game. And we all see the consequences because guess what? In a football game, you win, great. The loser goes home, shakes it off, plays another game next week. In this game, in this sport, you got to suck up and handle that loss for the next 2 to 4 years of your life. And it impacts every part of your life. So it's a wonderful analogy to put it that way. You are spot on, as always. When we come back, I know Greg is going to tell us, 'cause I told you guys, buckle in. We fly right by. It just does, Dave, and especially when I'm talking with you. I could bring you back all week and have a great time with you. So much to cover, but this British guy arrested, all these things I want to talk with you about, for posing with a shotgun while on vacation in Florida, and Washington State CPLs declining for the 4th month in a row. And that, to me, is an odd stat because Washington has, oddly, very liberal control in the big cities, but a huge gun owner population and over 700,000+ concealed permit holders. And that's important in Washington because you're not a constitutional carry state. So when we see that Washington CPLs are declining a 4th month in a row, honestly, Dave, I'll take this to the break. We'll come back and go right here. But that concerns me somewhat. We would expect to see that in a state that, say, recently flipped to constitutional carry. Well, I don't need a permit, I can carry my gun. It's a natural outgrowth of that. But that's not the case in Washington. What is happening in Washington? Dave will be able to tell us about it. And then when we come back also, I'm going to remind you to vote for me and a couple others over at the Gundys, who are all affiliated and on the board with me at the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. We'll be right back. One more segment with Dave Workman. Do not go away. Camera up. This segment is brought to you by Attorneys on Retainer. Get the only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back. Guys, I got a funny for you. I spoke to Attorneys on Retainer earlier today in Phoenix, and a lot of great stuff getting ready to pop between us, all of us, including you. When I say all of us, I mean all of us, you, me, them. A lot of great stuff. Attorneys on Retainer is the real deal. They're just a phenomenal company. They are the real deal. attorneysonretainer.us. 4 attorneys. If you, God forbid, you have to go to trial, there will be 4 attorneys, up to 4 attorneys if necessary, at your table. Think of it as the dream team, okay? Those of you old enough, remember what I'm talking about, all right? 4 attorneys, an hourly wage, bankrupt you quick, particularly if it's a lengthy investigation and drawn-out deal, all right? $35 a month, 4 attorneys. Not 35 times 4 per attorney, $35 a month. And this includes expert witnesses, whatever has to be done for investigative purposes, for discovery, it doesn't matter. Forensics, everything, $35 a month. It is an absolute no-brainer. And the funny part is I had a video that I recorded on my way to the studio today. I thought that I was going to put out on social media for you and give you a good look at the inside of the studio, the exterior of the studio, 30-second video, and tell you a little thing that happened to me today. Reminded me about Attorneys on Retainer, and I got back into the studio and was getting ready to upload it, and I realized I didn't hit record. So all I got was a picture out of the deal, Greg, because I never said I was the brightest bulb in the knife drawer. So we'll go ahead and redo that video for you. Now that I know, it'll be even better than the one you missed. Welcome back, guys. It's attorneysonretainer.us. It's an absolute no-brainer. Please get off the fence and do it. It's that simple. Attorneysonretainer.us. Promo code AAR, $50 off the sign-up fee, and boom, you're in, and it's $35 a month, $25 per head if you sign up your family like I did. Dave Workman, welcome back. All right, let's. I want to go to Washington before I go to this British dude who got just absolutely railroaded. What is in play in Washington? Because I have followed Washington numbers for a long time. It's an odd state in that sense, because those very gun owners, it doesn't seem, come out to vote, or if they all do, there's just not enough of us out there. It's that simple. That could be the basic math. There's just not enough of us out there to overcome the cities. Maybe that's true. But why are Washington CPLs declining for 4 months in a row? That's a pattern developing in a state that has not legalized constitutional carry. What gives?
Well, I think if you read the story real carefully, you'll saw down in like paragraph 12 or whatever it was, this is a pattern that has kind of developed over the last couple of 3 years. At this time of year, the numbers seem to decline, whether it's people not re-upping because of the holidays coming up or they're just being forgiven. You know, they don't know. But then it starts picking up again, say, in the spring. Now, the real problem we have now is a lot of people think that this law that was passed earlier this year that requires a training to get a concealed pistol license, that law has not taken effect yet. It doesn't take effect until May of 2027. And I think by that time, we're going to see plaintiffs all lining up for all the major gun rights organizations with a herd of attorneys out there. They're going to file federal and state lawsuits, constitutional lawsuits, against that requirement, because nowhere is it possible that it could be constitutionally sound to require a permit in order to exercise a constitutionally protected right. That stinks out loud.
Oh, to high heaven.
I'm just waiting. Yeah, and I think that's having an effect. Now, as far as the number of concealed pistol license holders, I found something out over the course of years writing about this stuff, and I get these updates every month. It looks like liberals care about their own skin, too. So there's a lot of people who vote Democrat that are packing iron out there.
Yeah, they just don't like to talk about it like we do because it's not something they want to talk about. And the ones in leadership positions are all protected themselves, okay, by either private or outside security, whether it's Capitol Police or their own private security, and their own guns, by the way, okay? Look, I'm good friends with Russell Stewart that owns Beverly Hills Guns. Place is loaded with liberals. Guys, we're talking A-listers out there that you hear every day hating on guns are gun owners, okay? And I do know some of their names. It's mind-boggling. But let's take this conversation to Delaware, because you have a piece up from the 26th that Delaware has just implemented its controversial permit to purchase law requiring first state citizens to obtain a permit from the government before they can purchase a gun. Now, I guess, and I don't need a little birdie in my ear to tell me this, but I guess with the Second Amendment Foundation being in Washington, they're probably one of those groups lining up to try to put a stop to this. I certainly hope they are, and I feel confident that they are. But, you know, you have Colorado, Washington, Oregon with the Measure 114 that you point out. You know, Ryan Petty is right in his assessment that they will never stop, ladies and gentlemen, even in the face of Supreme Court decisions. I mean, look at what we've seen with Bruin, snubbing their nose. Heller, McDonald, Bruin, snubbing their nose, and the blue states just keep going. They're not going to stop. What do you think the likelihood is that some of these cases seeking cert in front of the Supreme Court right now are actually going to be taken this session, particularly an assault weapons ban case, likely Cook County or maybe even more likely Connecticut? What do you think, Dave?
Well, I don't know. And the High Court has already taken, 3 Second Amendment cases now? Yeah. They may be reaching their limit. And unfortunately, the big strong case, which is the ban on so-called assault weapons, they haven't taken that yet. And by golly, they need to take that case. Yes, they do. I don't know why Chief Justice Roberts doesn't just say, hey, we're going to clear the slate on this. We're taking these cases. We're going to clear this crap up right now and knock this stuff off.
Yeah, that will help all the states.
Do that.
Yeah, that will help you, Virginia, in advance. That would be a shot across the bow, number one. New York State, Michigan now, Big Gretsch up there in Michigan, seeking more assault weapons bans. You got them locally up in Minneapolis and St. Paul. All right, you got Michigan wanting to go for it. You got Illinois and Cook County. You got California, Washington State. All the blue states either have one or want more of what they already have. So based on what we saw Kavanaugh write, when they refused to take that powerhouse Fourth Circuit case, which is still mind-boggling to me, it really truly is, it became clear to me that they were going to take one of these cases. Obviously, he made that clear within the next 2 sessions. I am still remaining optimistic, Dave, because I'm the eternal optimist here. I'm still optimistic that this one of either Cook County or Connecticut, maybe they get combined, whatever it may be, gets taken this session. Because I think you're right. I think the court itself has had enough of this.
30?
We're 3 years past post-Bruin. We're post-Bruin now 3 years. Enough is enough, Dave. You got 30 seconds. Take it away, brother.
Well, look at what Hawaii did, and look at what New York did, and New Jersey. After Bruin came out, those states literally spit in the eye of the Supreme Court. They said, you know what, blow it out your ear, because we're going to do this anyway. And now we've got the case coming back from Hawaii to the Supreme. Hawaii, in their state Supreme Court, in that ruling, say, hey, we don't recognize the Second Amendment. Yeah. And I'm sitting here thinking, now, wait a minute. You guys became state back in 59. You had to take the whole enchilada there, not just part of it.
Hey, look, at least they were honest.
Take the Bill of Rights.
Hey, Dave, we love you, man. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. I could go hours and hours just having a conversation with you. Guys, this is the way we talk on the phone. And I'm proud to be able to bring it to the radio show for you. We're going to get up and do it again tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, because they don't want us to. Until then, enjoy your day. Stay safe. We'll see each and every one of you on the radio.
Just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters, presented by the National Rifle Association. The National Rifle Association on the Armed American Radio Network.
Hey, guys, thanks for being here today. Appreciate it very much. I did not get a chance I love talking with Workman. I could go hours and hours with him. He's so fun to talk to and so knowledgeable. I didn't get a chance to remind you, if you have not yet done so, please go to the Gundies, GUNDIES.com, and vote for yours truly over there. Armed American Radio has been nominated in the category Top Voices of the Two-Way. I believe, as far as I know, it's the first time we've been nominated. I'll be honest with you, I haven't really paid much attention to it over the years. But if you would, we know we are because we're up there, we're voting ourselves. You can vote every single day, as much as twice a day. So go to thegundis.com, and you'll enter your age in there, verify your age, and then it will give you a quick login. You log in and then go in and you vote. You scroll down in the top voices of the 2A category, find the AAR logo in there. It changes wherever it is, sometimes at the bottom, sometimes at the top, and click on that. And then you can vote another 18 others. And there are a number of in there. John Petrolino is in there. All right, make sure you vote for John Petrolino. Guns and Gadgets, Jared Yanis is over there, and King of the Hill category. Okay, top 2A writer is the one that John Petrolino's in. So go and support everybody out there, okay? It's really cool to do that. And then if you want, you can watch a 34-second video from Palmetto. And if you go through that it's only a 34-second, it's a cool video, then you'll get 19 more votes, and you can vote twice, and you can do that every day. This is the only time I'll ever ask you to be a Democrat. Vote early and vote often, okay, guys? I would appreciate that very much. Let's see if we can pull this off. It'd be fun, and it'd be a victory for all of us. So thanks for doing that in advance. Enjoy your day, guys. Thanks for being here. I'll see you on the radio tomorrow.